I managed to sell a project to a customer based on a proposal or a requirement. Fine, the sale is done. But then what is the reality? The reality is to deliver that, right? And deliver that with excellence, with a customer satisfaction, and with a profit, right? And then getting paid for it. That's what is the business of IT is. So service delivery is the core crux. So for Skillmine, if you look at why we call ourselves a skill mine, is that everything what matters is skills. And mining those skills to apply and deliver is the real thing. So service delivery and customer experience is the core crux of a skill.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the GB show. As India is leading its way to the service delivery excellence, we need to talk on how we can leverage the technology to enhance our service delivery experience. To have discussion on this particular topic, I have with me Anant Agarwal. He's having around 28 years of diverse experience in the diverse industries and currently holding the position of Managing Director at Skillmine Technologies. He is going to talk to us that how technology can play an important role when we are about to excellence our service delivery and how we can move from a service delivery excellence to a product engineering company. And we will also be talking about the entrepreneurship scene in India. Let's hear him out. Hi Anant, welcome to the GB show.
Thank you, Gaurav. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure is all mine. Thanks. I hope you find the place easily.
Oh, lovely studio, and this is my first time, so excited as well as a bit nervous.
Okay, amazing. We will see that this video gives an amazing outcome and you cherish these moments and have it as a memorable experience. So to take it from here, and I think for my audience, I just have introduced you, and as you have 30 plus years of experience in banking, finance, retail, healthcare and capital market, and I think 50% of your experience was on the other side of the table, and then you started entrepreneurship in 2011. So you have done a great work in service delivery and all. So tell me, how was the overall journey for last 30 years, what you have seen? Because when you started, the IT was not that booming in the India, but
Yes.
how's your experience have been, what you have seen in 30 years, from where the service delivery and how it is shaping up today? Maybe for my audience, let's know you better.
Thank you. Thanks, Gaurav. That's very nostalgic. I mean, when I started, I think very early 90s, and I remember during my college days, we used to get teased by the other departments that what will you do studying computer science? There is no computers in India. And if you today see, it's the IT sector which drives the maximum foreign income, the maximum growth of so many industries. And if you talk about the UPIs and the whole thing, what's happening, it's actually the IT which is shaping the future of India. So having said that, I mean, I started graduation, post-graduation, didn't get any job, started doing menial IT jobs. And then it actually started booming very, very fast, almost quadrupling every year. Got few options and opportunities to go overseas. And that was the culmination, or I would say the catalytic point of the career. Went overseas because India was still very, very nascent in technology adoption. So as I went overseas, I started to learn the nuances of adopting IT, doing IT, learning IT, unlearning IT and relearning IT.
Okay.
Because the technology moves really fast. And that gave me all the principles, my nucleuses and my entire cell of the gray cells and the white cells of the technology domain. Worked in very challenging projects and customers and companies and geographies. So that that particular thing kept on making me more knowledgeable, experienced, and so it was international, global, have worked in various different geographies, whether it is Americas or Europe. I mean, those were the days when IT was demand, and I was with a very famous consulting organization, Gemini Consulting and Capgemini. So I got a lot of opportunities, but then again, being the lone son, parents, I came back to India, had fantastic career propositions in India, and then ultimately I am a techie is what I call, but I am a businessman techie. So I don't get overtaken by fancy toys of technology, but I rather make them relevant for business so that they deliver what is fit for purpose and what gives the right ROI to the businesses by using the technology. So that is my USP.
So business techie. Oh, that is
Absolutely.
what I have taken from that word. And when this business techie we talk about have been a service delivery expert, I will call. So let's start for the layman whoever is watching this right now. You know, what is service delivery and what you have seen is required for service delivery excellence.
Right. Can I take you a little bit, rewind the clock about...
I'm all ready for the journey, right?
For the service delivery aspect. If you talk about India as a country or a continent or a civilization, right? There are a few things, right? So we talk about seva paramo dharma. What is seva? Seva is service. We talk about atithi devo bhava. So anybody who is a guest is treated like a god. Some of those intrinsic qualities of Indian civilization has really culminated into fantastic strengths of our IT services industry, which we call as. So today, if you look at the bellwether companies of the TCS and the Wipros and the Infosys of the world, they employ millions of not just Indians, but global citizens in India and outside India. And so the technology business, basically, if there is a bank, it needs a lot of IT to run its bank, or if there is a retail business, it needs a lot of technology to run its retail business. Somebody needs to ensure that that piece of technology is fresh, up and running all the time, and continuously adopting and improving. So in the service delivery, we typically talk about adaptive, corrective, preventive, and perfective. So you have to keep on evolving, because new technologies will come and the old technologies will go away. Not that new technologies has to be forcefully adopted, but there are significant advantages of how the economies and the geographies move. So the service delivery is the core functional nucleus of an IT. It's basically the rubber hitting the road. The whole keeping lights on is like the beating heart of technology, right? So it always has to be beating heart. That means, if, for example, I just give an example. So you enter your house and you flip a switch and the light comes up, right? Or you open the tap and the water comes out. Just imagine that your mobile phone has stopped receiving emails, or you stop receiving phone calls, or you go to a system and you want to make a payment and you are not able to make a payment. So it's always on, minds on, hands on. That is what is the whole crux of the service. Now, if you think about that there are various different technology systems, what we call as pieces of servers and networks and softwares. There has to be teams which has to ensure that this is always working, right?
Yeah.
And keeping that alive, ticking, nerving, working is what is called service delivery.
Okay.
As a human being, we are not just satisfied about it keep on ticking. It needs to be better. It needs to be faster. It needs to improve. It needs to be cheaper. It needs to be much more better experience. So it's like you are taking care of a heart and you are making it better every day and faster every day and younger every day. And that is what the service delivery excellence as a theme points to.
Exactly. And how you have mentioned that, making it better day after day, right? So for that, the continuous monitoring and its impact and putting into the right metrics and then looking into the data and visualizing it, that is right, most important part of service delivery. So what do you think when we are talking about the service delivery excellence, what are the data points which we need to look into and monitor and then say, okay, this is how we can improvise?
So there are multiple aspects to that. I mean, when we talk about service excellence or service delivery excellence, there are multiple facets around it. the biggest facet or the biggest important bottom line of a service delivery is, for example, Skillmine is a tech services company. We are serving one bank, let's say XYZ bank. I am the MD of the company and I'm delivering to the CIO. But the biggest point is, for me, the CIO is a stakeholder, but the CIO's stakeholder, who is the either a CFO or head of banking or head of corporate banking or retail banking, is the actual customer. So, who is the customer? The customer is the customer's customer. So, the CIO of the bank needs to deliver it to his board members, and those are my customers. So, I have to deliver a service from their optics point, from their standpoint, and that is the biggest thing. If a delivery organization understands that, then suddenly the body language changes. Then we stop talking about the scope and technology. So, in any service delivery excellence model, I mean, definitely we are bound by a scope to be delivered, but never be always tied to the scope. Break the boundaries, be boundaryless. You cannot improve anything if you don't measure. So whether it is the SLAs or uptimes and things like that, for me, my thinking or Skillmine's thinking is, why measure uptime? Measure downtime and reduce downtime. Uptime can only go up. But downtime you can reduce. Uptime by result is enough. So removing variations in the process, right? So in terms of, if a certain piece of transaction or a process takes 3 days, but sometimes it takes 5 days, why it is taking 3 days or 5 days? What can we do to remove the variation to 1 day, right? Automate things, remove manual processes, make it smarter, self-healing. There are a lot of those kind of techniques. Why to always push the information? Let whoever needs the information can be pulled. So on demand basis, those are some of the key gross principles of service delivery excellence. But if you are delivering to your customer's customer, that is the key point. And if the customer's customer is satisfied, that means you're doing something right.
Amazing. This is a new thought to me as well. I think always focus customer to customer. Is end customer, like when you are giving the services, where the further it's going. I think this really makes sense. And for service delivery, do we have any standardization processes across globe, any certifications or any parameter, and also how relevant they are?
No, they are. So there are a lot of standards, whether we talk about ITIL standards or ISO standards or ISO 27001 standards or CMMI level standard. These are very good principles and reference points. Certifications are relevant. It's like our old scientists used to be real scientists, but some of them today are a bit of the paper-based thing, right? So as long as you have the right crux of the metal of the knowledge and your application to it is rightfully done, for me, certifications doesn't matter. But certifications are a good way to evaluate oneself, whether it has got the right subject matter and it has been tested out that way. Good to do certifications, but if you study well and try to apply them and then try to get into certification, your work will certify your knowledge.
Okay. And what's the Skillmine's approach towards service delivery? How you ensure that you are providing the excellence? And maybe also for my audience, you can tell that what exactly you do more about your organization.
Right. Thanks for that small detour. Skillmine primarily is divided into two different businesses. One is our service delivery unit and other one is our product engineering unit. We got into product engineering very recently, 4 or 5 years back, but service delivery is something we have been doing for the last 12 years. So in the IT services delivery, all the three verticals, whether it is the baselines of cloud and infrastructure or cyber security or digital, we do all of that. We have close to 500 plus people capability on each one of these three verticals. And so for me, you think about it, right? So I managed to sell a project to a customer based on a proposal or a requirement. Fine, the sale is done. But then what is the reality? The reality is to deliver that, right? And deliver that with excellence, with a customer satisfaction and with a profit, right? And then getting paid for it. That's what is the business of IT is. So service delivery is the core crux. So for Skillmine, if you look at why we call ourselves a skill mine, is that everything what matters is skills. And mining those skills to apply and deliver is the real thing. So service delivery and customer experience is the core crux of a skill mine success. Our biggest sales people are our customers. So they refer us to some of their friends from where we get inquiries and we get deals from them. That is the output of the good work what we do. But in our delivery model, we have these three verticals. Each of these three verticals, we have a lot of competency managers. Below those competency managers, we have technology and service delivery managers. We have program managers. One of the key thing what we do is at a leadership level, there is what we call as ownership and accountability. So there will be a senior manager or a AVP or a VP who will be accountable and own that particular delivery for that particular customer. And what we do very, very clearly is that we make sure that that manager is not managing more than 2 projects. There's no. So he has got the bandwidth, he has got the focus, he has got the attention, and he is the success delivery manager to the customer. And he has got assistance from lot of competency people and resources as per the project organization. And sunrise and sunset calls are very, very important in a skill mine. So every day for every project there is a sunrise call and a sunset call. What is that which is going to happen today, and what has happened today, what is going to happen tomorrow. So it's managed in hours, not in weeks. There are weekly KPIs and reports, and we don't do reviews internally. We actually get customer reviews done, which is very, very important. And metrics are very, very important. So we have our internal data visualization tool, which is a dashboard whereby all the project numbers go. We manage our projects and delivery fantastically online through various tools and technologies, and it's all get measured up. And we measure in our brag rating. So for every project, it's a red, amber, green, blue. So if it is red, that means the project is dead. Green or blue is the only thing which is acceptable. So very, very proficient in measuring that by numbers and getting customer feedback. Having said that, very important aspect of service excellence. So nobody is God sent 10 out of 10. We all will make mistakes. Yes. Even out of the best of the efforts, projects will go wrong. And they do go wrong. That's reality of life, right? So that's where we have a very ultra responsive management to actually, if something hits the fan, right, then we have the all hands on deck approach. And including me, I get into the working floor. If I am not doing that technology, I will hover pizzas for my team. But I'll ensure that we work overnight, 2 days, 3 days, until the problem is fixed.
Yes, and if there are no failures or the project will not go wrong, how we are going to sell risk management? That is where the corrective and risk.
The other aspect of Gaurav is failures are the biggest teachers, right? So if you fail, that's where you learn.
Yeah. So, but I in your conversation, I found this interesting line which you mentioned that for 12 years you were doing service delivery excellence, and now you are moving to product engineering, right? So why that step, and do you think that service delivery future is going to be vanished, or is there any other strategic plan you have for product engineering? No, what's your thoughts on that part?
So we are an accidental product engineering company, I would say, and thanks to the COVID wave, we didn't had any job to do during 2020. I mean, our services deliveries were happening, but the management team had nothing to do. So one fine day, sometime in April, we sat down and we said that let's develop some products. And we started going down to the product journey. We were very bad. This is something which we started doing for the first time. But I want to bring this thing to the to you and all the audience as well. You look at the technology, everything getting automated, machine learning, AI, ML and all that. The cloud has made the availability of IT infrastructure very, very insignificant. It's a click on demand. The low-code, no-code platforms are going to make software development very easy. There will always be new things to do, and the demand on the services industry is not going to go down. But I get a little positive, angry inside if I look at my own country, India, whereby we are the largest consumer of data, we are probably the largest population using mobile phones and the largest laptop users, but how come we don't have a single brand of a laptop or a mobile or a networking gear or something which is make in India, made in India, made by India with the desi thappa on it? So it makes me a little sad as Indian. We have so many techies. Mr. Pichai's and Mr. Nadella's, they rule the two top tech companies in the world. So capability is not a problem. Our educational institution is fantastic. The Indian jugaad or the can-do attitude is marvelous. But then still, somewhere something is missing, don't you think? Whereby India as a country or as an economy or as Vishwaguru, what Mr. Modi says these days, how come we don't have a product of our own which is world beating? Yeah, you can see whether the UPI, there is no UPI in the world and something, I mean, the best blockchain example is our own Aadhaar system, right? So you can, at a fingertip, you can get contracts signed and you can get telecoms done and anything you can do through Aadhaar, which is the biggest blockchain. The next big blockchain is coming as all the Indian universities are getting interlinked. So there are a lot of push by the government. I mean, no planet, no country on the planet had anything called CoWIN system, which was a digital vaccination system for 1.25 billion citizens. So that means there is something which India can always do. It's people like me, the private sector, who needs to join hands together, who needs to take this challenge and not so that we can create some good products which can be world beating, which can serve the mankind, which can make things simpler, better, cheaper, faster. But the economy, it has to bring back the economic gains to India and the brand reputation, because it's one product which will change how many other Indian companies start thinking and doing it. So our country needs to have, with so many technicians, we should have the product, and having the product, one last point is the products are also associated with services. So nowadays, it's not just a product that you sold and the customer is using it. It's a product which is being sold and an associated service which is being developed in and around it. Look at the two industries, right? The Indian automotive industry and the Indian pharmacy industry. Yeah. They are the largest and the biggest on the planet. And then there are ancillary units and healthcare services and all that, which is all developed around it. Very similarly, the Indian IT industry, while it is the world beater in its services thing, it's time for Indian companies to start looking at creating its own products, which we do, but making sure that not to sell out to foreign companies in the lure of money.
Coming to that, I think for Indian products, if need to come, so we have more entrepreneurs need to be coming out. But in India, the support system for entrepreneurs is very weak. Like, even the parents will not support that, okay, you can go out and try 3-4 years entrepreneurship and we will support you. And there is no government wages which comes in, okay, you try and if you fail, we will support. But what on the other side, if you go and apply for a job out of India, you get a good lucrative offers, and that is where the people go and run around, right? I think that Indianism is coming in you, but I will like to know more. What advice you will like to give to those people?
I have a very interesting anecdote on that, and sometimes this has come up in some of the fresher discussions which I do within our company. India has, when we got independence, India was traditionally an agriculture country, right? So our Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri, he gave a nara, right? Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Then what started? Then came 2000s, whereby India started its IT services journey and all that. It started to gain some momentum in the global economies of things. It started to gain some percentage. We got a new nara, right? Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan. And that's the time when Atal Bihari Vajpayee declared it as the thing when India became nuclear. In 2020, another thing has got added to it. It is Jai Jawan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandhan. That means the research oriented. And that has been coined by Mr. Modi. But the point is, from agriculture to services, if you look at today's India of manufacturing, I don't think the Indian middle class, the world class Indian middle class, parents and students and aspiring entrepreneurs have to think that what matters is the economy, what matters is the excellence, what matters is their knowledge and how they solve problem.
Fair
There
enough.
is enough funding available. I mean, if you look at Startup India, Stand Up India, Skill India, Fit India, Khelo India, the government has got so many schemes. And I am not saying that some of these schemes may fit you or not fit you, but I want to invite people, right? If you have a very good idea and you have an execution thing, come to me. 9820249117.
Okay, guys, you know now where to reach out for if you want to be an entrepreneur. So here is the choice for you. Okay, fair enough. And I think from that entrepreneur side, I will like to come back to service delivery,
Yeah.
which we were talking about, right? A lot of entrepreneurship we have talked about, and as we say that people can get in touch if they want to be the entrepreneur and want looking for a funding too. But the thing is coming back to the service delivery point, and as we were, you advocate technology a lot. So, what do you think, or how technology plays an important role for service delivery excellence?
Oh, yeah. Very important. So, I mean, there are so many technology options available for service delivery excellence. But I will take it to go back to the principles, right? We as human beings, when we are delivering a service or when we are receiving a service, right? What is that which makes us feel good, right? So, what do I see? What do I feel? What do I touch? What do I get? If you get this 4 or 5 questions, or what do I want my customers to hear? What do I want my customers to say? Or what do I want my customers to feel? See, those are the principles based on which you do your service design. Based on those principles, you do your tools. So, I mean, monitoring and then monitoring, identifying, resolving, and permanently resolving, and then continuously improving. These are some of the core principles of service delivery excellence, along with knowledge management, people management, customer satisfaction management, ultimately leading to experience management. So, while that is this core crux of it, but if you are able to see, if you are able to touch, and if you are able to feel, and you want to hear what I mean, and you can make your customers say what you want to hear by delivering those service excellence. So there are a lot of technologies with IT service management tools, with IT monitoring tools, with IT automation tools, and things like that. There are so many articles which are available as knowledge working frameworks and best practices documents on skill-mine.com. People can register their email and download those documents. It's available for free. We ensure that whatever we know as a knowledge, it should be available to public domain so that it can benefit everybody. And we also get feedback from them. So both ways, they enrich us and we distribute that. So look at a lot of our knowledge frameworks, what we have created there. But basically, look at what your customers have to say for it and follow the technology tools, what makes you that particular enablement.
Fair enough. Thanks, Anand. I think it was a great conversation, and my audience has a great insights from you. But as a last piece, where I will ask you to interact with my audience directly.
Right.
Let's say if someone is starting into product engineering, or let's say into the services business, what are the advice you have for him, or any framework or any best practices you like to suggest him? So my audience is all yours.
Okay. I would say to the audience that the first and the biggest best practice is you yourself. So what you bring to the table and what your experience is and what problem you want to solve is the first and the foremost thing. Then rest of the everything, what I call as edge computing, you can build around it. Anything from an IT infrastructure, if you are in new, try not to do on-prem, go to the cloud and make use of it as a temporary nature. Try not to make a build, but go for a buy option for some of the tools what you are using. look at working a lot of things on the services side and always be on the pull side. All I'm trying to say to you is focus on the core crux of things rather than getting sidelined by some of the administrative layers of things. So be very, very selfish about your product or your service. And because you have to be a subject matter expertise onto that, otherwise partner with people who complement you. But around the best practices and tools and technologies, it's very vast and specifics has to be done, whether how do you architecture or how do you design. I'm sure if you are a subject matter of your core domain, rest of the things you can pick it up yourself. And there are a lot of resources available, whether it is Chat GPT or Google's these days. They have the ready answers for you and your industry experts. I can be one of them as well. Thank you very much.
Awesome. It's great having you as part of the show. And as a last ritual, I'll have something for you where I'll say thank you for being on the GB show.
Thank you very much, Gaurav. It was lovely. And I did learn few things too in terms of how some of these questions can put you off the table, but I think I survived. Thank you so much.
I'll see you next Thursday, 6 p.m. Till then, be safe. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.